find yourself a poet and you want to do something like subvert,
Yep.
and bring people to that that crisis point of acknowledging their pain, bringing people on to pain. How do you do that and still have a job next week?
Well, I think it's not easy, and one has to be wise and not confrontive. But I'm inclined to think that I would let the Bible do some of the work, and help people see that biblical texts are so often very elusive, which is evidenced by the fact that we get all kinds of different meanings out of those texts. They don't have one meaning, and I suspect you could almost test this in any local congregation, even if the congregation is very homogeneous. People hear it differently, and I'm inclined to think that the hearing it differently is often that we are led by the Spirit to hear it differently. And I think that what we have to do in most local congregations, I think we have to enlarge the repertoire of Scripture that is available. Most churches I know, except the high liturgical churches, people only know about 6 of the Psalms. And those we've learned to read in the flattest, most reassuring kind of way. So I think without pressing it in harsh or abrupt ways, what one can do with the Psalms, without taking up the most offensive of them, is to, if you can read a few verses of the Psalm, and those are verses that you couldn't imagine anyone in this congregation ever saying, because they wouldn't do that. Just ask the interpretive question, who would you imagine could talk like that? Do you know anybody who would talk like that? Or have you seen anybody in the news lately that you could imagine talking like that? And if you take an angry psalm or something like that, you can imagine that it's a Palestinian mother who is picking up the pieces of her exploded son or something like that, and has to talk like that. So you begin to open up the sense that because we are human, we all know or can imagine being in extremis. And when we are in extremis, what we know almost immediately is that our safe conventional language doesn't quite work. So I think to entertain the thought that in this literature there are voices other than our own that the traditioning process thought were authoritative, and there are people who speak faith in ways other than the way we speak faith. It seems to me is an important piece of strategy for that.